Hey everyone, I'm Bill. I'm with Calimoto TV. Welcome back to the channel. We're here at A&S Motorcycles here in Sacramento, California, and we are test riding this 2019 Thruxton R. Now, we talked about Brian, one of our coaches over at Cali Track Days, rails on his normal Thruxton, and we always talk about his suspension and braking problems. Thruxton has fixed that. The Triumph Thruxton R has Öhlins suspension and it has Brembo brakes. So let's get geared up, take a look around the bike, let's get out on the road and see how this thing performs. All right, you guys ready? So we're here at A&S Triumph right now. So we've had some comments before asking us, or we had a comment that someone said that we worked for the dealership. Just to clarify, me and Bogna, we do not work for the dealership. We are completely independent. I've bought motorcycles from A&S. That's why I have a great relationship with them. But just to give you guys some insight of what we do and how we do our review rides, I just wanted to line this up. So we can only make it here about one day a month. So what we do is we line up all of the bikes that we're going to ride, and we shoot all the B-roll and everything, and then bam, 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 bam. So in the next month, you guys will be seeing the Thruxton R, the 9T Cafe, the 797, and Bogna's super excited about. She said she wanted to buy that today, but I said no. All right, so we're going to be on the Thruxton R today. So let's go ahead and get on it. Bogna's going to be on the 797. All right, so as always, let's go ahead and get our mirrors adjusted, take a look at our gauge cluster, kind of the old school, but we do have some modes available. We have some information. We'll get on the street and figure all of this out. Ooh. Takes a little second to get going. So, if you guys haven't seen some of our on-track videos, we have a coach called Brian. His name, well, we call him Brian. His name is also Brian, and he works for a Ducati dealership over across the bay. And ready? And he comes out on his little Thruxton non-R, and he rails like crazy on this thing. And we always joke about he needs suspension and brakes. Well, Triumph has fixed that issue with the new Triumph Thruxton R. We have Öhlins suspension and we have Brembo brakes. Now, Showa suspension up front, that's interesting, but I believe it has rear Öhlins suspension. And I won't complain about the suspension. It feels very, very nice. Some of the things I like to get into early, we do not have a quick shifter, so we don't have to worry about talking about the quick shifter. But the vibration on this is very nice. There's not much, little bit of vibration, but nothing to complain about. Shifting's the old school clutch. That's fine. Get a little click when you click it into gear. It's the shifter's got a nice, well, I don't want to call it a nice click, but it's definitely a hard click. Kind of like a hard click button compared to most shifters nowadays have that kind of soft touch click. So we do have our gear indicator up here, our odometers, and then over to the right we've got a proper fuel gauge, and we also have a 36 miles to empty, so that's very nice. So let's see what information we've got. We've got a tripometer over here to the left, tripometer 1, tripometer 2, miles per gallon, 40, oh, instant miles per gallon. Oh, that's kind of nice. Instant miles per gallon, and our average miles per gallon, 31.5. See if I can make this turn. And I think Wagner made it behind me. So 31 miles to the average gallon. I'm sure that we could probably get a little bit better on this little guy. And back to a time and odometer. So the information tab, very simple, very easy. Our modes, we're in sport, road, or rain mode. We are in road mode, and we can go into sport mode, pull in the clutch, let out the clutch. I wasn't expecting much from this bike. The only reason why I expected anything out of this bike is Brian absolutely loves this bike and he rails on this bike. That's the only reason why I expected anything out of this bike. But I sure didn't expect that. Ooh. All right. So of course we got the proper hazards over here on the right, blinkers over here on the left, horn and high beams, and that's the tour of our menu. The thing sounds very cool. It's quiet, but very grunty. It's got a grr to it, a very deep grr. I could see this thing with a very nice exhaust on it. I think this thing would sound wonderful. I think it would sound very good. So, a little bit of traffic. I don't know what this guy's doing in front of us. He's like driving in the bike lane. All right. So over to the right, staying on course. So I haven't seen this bike before, so I'm not sure if this is a brand new model. I'm not sure if they made the R in the previous years. But it is a very cool, it's a very cool bike. I'm down with it. Face shield close here. So let's talk about comfort. The seat, very nice, very comfortable. Arms are a little bit on the sporty side. It almost looks like we've got a clip-on style front end. We don't have any bars really. So it's kind of a sporty feel. I'm a little bit down, but definitely not a you know, a sport bike feel. It's just a more of like a sport feel, okay, which is what this is for. If you want more of the, you know, the upright bike, you're going to get more something like the Bonneville T100, T120. You're going to get more of that upright bike. The Thruxton is definitely more of that kind of cool cafe style, and that's what we're running today, because in the next video we are going to be running the BMW 9T Cafe. So make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and watch out for that video, because this will be a very cool comparison video to two very, very, very popular cafe racer style bikes, BMW and Triumph. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and watch out for the 9T Cafe style. So I will exercise my lane sharing rights in the state of California to creep up. So we hit the red line a little bit early, 7,000 RPMs. I'm kind of used to heading up to the 14,000 RPMs. but we got a much smaller motor. Back to the vibration, love it. Nothing in the feet, nothing in the hands. I'm not complaining about the vibration at all. I don't mind it at all. So for you guys that are worried about vibration with this bike, don't be, because there's not much of it at all. Comfort, you know, sitting on it, I got a little bit, if you guys remember on the original 9T 719 option review, if you haven't seen that one, go watch that one. I complained right between the legs, it is a little tight, and where my legs kind of rest, it hits a little bit on the inner upper thigh towards my butt. This has kind of got the same feel, but it's kind of a different feel because it's only when I put my legs down, so it's just that narrow seat. So I gotta say, I'm surprised with the pickup on this thing. I really am. I really am. And the feel, you know, the feel of the weight, you talk about that, it's good. I don't mind it. It doesn't feel top heavy at all, so it turns pretty decently. I would say, you know, I don't really like the clickiness of the shifter. I wish it was a little bit a softer shift. That would be nice. Now, if you guys haven't seen Bogna's intro review, and if you ask the question, why did we do an intro review and of the white Ducati and she's on a red Ducati? Well, as we are getting ready to leave on the white one, a guy came up and was like, yeah, so I'm gonna buy that one. And so we had to grab a second one. So yeah, so I'm digging it. I'm digging it. You know, comfort, suspension, good. Weight is good. Distribution's good. Stability, very nice. I believe it's on the 9T. There is a steering damper, and this one does not appear to have one. So that would have been you know, if you guys watch my review videos, especially my track videos, I always like that steering damper. So the front end's a little bit light in this, so that's the only reason why I say the damper would have been nice. The S1000 or the 9T Cafe that will be on later in the next review does have one, so I'll talk about its adjustability before we take off. So I always like to talk about the suspension back on this back road, because California hasn't been able to spend any of our hard-earned tax money to fix the roads, and this is a much further back neglected road, so it is a little bouncy, so it's nice to test out the suspension. I kind of get, if you look, I kind of get a little bit of that wobble in the front end. That's that damper that I would like. It isn't major. Don't think it's something that's like I have to, you know, look, I've got one hand on. If I'm full on, I wouldn't be bothered by it. But outside that, the suspension's very good. My butt's enjoying it. I think we have the rear, I think they're called axle mount shocks, dual on both sides, and I believe they're Oleans, and I believe they are adjustable, but I don't mind them where they're at. Of course, our front end is fully adjustable with rebound and compression, which is very nice. These bikes typically don't have that kind of adjustability in the forks. So Brian, I think it's time to, I'm going to talk to Brian about this too and ask him why he hasn't traded his Thruxton in for enough Thruxton R. But this is it's been enjoyable, very nice. So head over to the Cali Track Day stuff. You'll see the last time, I think we've got a video coming up, and I think the title is the MT-09 versus the Thruxton, is it the, no, I was on the R, excuse me, I was on the R3, and he would take me on the straights. He would walk away from me, not walk away from me, but he would pull away from me on the straights. But of course, when it came to the suspension and the brakes, he didn't have it because he's just on a regular Thruxton. I think Brian could take me on that R3 if he was on this bike properly set up. You're probably thinking to yourself, come on, a Thruxton at the track? Yes. Yes, a Thruxton at the track. Why not? Why not? So we did get a little light that came on. We've got it over on the right hand side. Hopefully you guys can see that. We do have a fuel light that has come on. We've done 4 miles, which has taken us to 31 miles till empty. So let's check into our rain mode. Yeah, much change. It's definitely not the throaty sport mode. Felt like it going down was a little bit different, but not too bad, not too bad. So we have a Brembo caliper up front, Brembo Master as well. So you can see we've got our Brembo Master. And heading back here, little acceleration pull. Not too bad, guys. So, look, you know, who's this bike for? You know, if you're an around town guy and, you know, just kind of the nothing, yeah, I mean, you could be sporty on this. That was kind of, I don't even know where to put you on this bike. I don't even know who this bike is for, because it's a very versatile bike. Throwing suspension and Brembo, proper suspension and proper braking on a cafe style race bike like this, I mean, I would almost put you in the category of maybe a sport bike. I mean, you can take this to the track. No questions, you could take this to the track. And no questions that you could take this up in the canyons. Let's see. Let's look down at our foot pegs. We have nice rear sets. They're kind of up high. Not too bad. Good size motor. Yeah, Öhlins in the back, and they're fully adjustable. Dual Öhlins, yes, yes. So that's kind of odd that there's Öhlins in the back, but they put the Showa forks in here. So we have inverted Showa forks. It's a rad bike, guys. I think this is a rad bike. If you guys are looking at a Thruxton, I would splurge, and I don't know what the price difference is. I didn't glance at the price tag. I don't even know how much this bike is. If you guys are looking, you know, I mean, if you're talking $1,000 or $2,000 difference, this is the bike to have, hands down. No questions asked. No questions asked. You need to buy the R. $4,000 or $5,000. We're getting there. We're getting there. But I can't imagine that this bike is $4,000 or $5,000 more than the non-R. So we're pulling back up here at A&S Motorcycles. As always, Randy, thank you for allowing to steal your bikes. It's an absolute pleasure to come here and ride these bikes. Remember, make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you take a look at our review on the 9T Cafe Style Racer. We'll be reviewing that up next, so make sure you look for that video. Oh, one thing I did want to point out, I really didn't like where this kickstand thing is. It's very hidden, and I almost can't get it down. So that's a negative for me. But let's take a look. Some exhaust. Definitely could use some exhaust. Your Öhlins suspension in the rear, Showa in the front. Brembo's. This is a sweet bike. This was a sweet bike. I enjoyed riding it. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and make sure you smash that like button. Leave me a comment. We have a Ducati, Triumph, and BMW dealership full of bikes. Is there something you want me to ride? Comment down below. But anyways, till next video, we'll see you then. Thanks, guys.